So there's a miracle in the New Testament that looks like a case of plagiarism. Someone watched Jesus raise a dead girl to life, he memorized the method, and then years later in a different city, he pulled off the exact same miracle and in the same sequence. And I think this is one of the most overlooked connections in the entire Bible. Let me show you. In Mark chapter 5, Jesus is approached by a man named Jairus. And Jairus is a synagogue ruler, and he has a 12-year-old daughter who's dying. And Jesus goes with him to heal her, but before they reach the house, word comes back that she's already dead. And they say to Jairus, don't bother Jesus anymore, but Jesus ignores it. And Jesus says, do not be afraid, only believe. And when they get to the house, it's absolute chaos. Mark 5:38 through 39. Then he came to the house of the ruler of the synagogue and saw a tumult, and those who wept and wailed loudly. So Jesus walks in and says, why make this commotion and weep? The child is not dead, but sleeping. And they all laugh at him. So he does something very deliberate. He clears the room. He puts everyone outside, every mourner, every neighbor, and he allows only the parents and 3 of his disciples to go in there with him. Then he walks to where the girl is lying. He takes her by the hand and says, Mark 5:41, Talita cumi, which is translated, little girl, I say to you, arise. And immediately she gets up and she walks. And then it says the people were overcome with great amazement. Now keep that exact sequence in mind. You have a chaotic room, Jesus clears it, he enters, he takes her by the hand, he speaks a specific phrase, and then she rises. Now let's go to Acts chapter 9. In the coastal town of Joppa, there's this beloved woman disciple, her name is Tabitha, and she's also known by her Greek name Dorcas, and she just died. And she was known throughout her community for her charity and her kindness and the clothes that she made for the poor. And the people are absolutely devastated. And then it says that 2 men were sent urgently to find a specific disciple. He arrives at the house and he's brought into the upper room. And what does he find? Acts 9:39. All the widows stood by him, weeping, showing the tunics and garments which Dorcas had made while she was still with them. So you have chaos and weeping and mourning. Sound familiar? Now watch what this disciple does step by step. He puts everyone out of the room, he clears it completely, he kneels down, he prays, then he turns to the body and speaks. So remember Jesus said, Talita cumi, little girl, arise. And that disciple says, Tabitha, arise. Talita, Tabitha. Now Luke records Acts in Greek, so he writes Tabitha, arise. But Tabitha itself is an Aramaic name, just like Talitha. And in Aramaic, arise is cumi, the same word that Jesus used. So the phrase that this disciple used was Tabitha cumi, literally one letter separating what Jesus said from what that disciple said. Acts 9:40. She opened her eyes, and when she saw Peter, she sat up. Then, just like Jesus, he reaches out his hand and lifts her up. So you see, that disciple was Peter. Peter didn't just hear a rumor about Jesus raising Jairus' daughter, he was actually there. Mark 5:37 tells us that when Jesus cleared the house, he didn't let anyone go in there with him except Peter, James, and John. So Peter was standing right there in the room. He watched Jesus' composure. He watched Jesus clear out that chaotic unbelief. He listened to the exact phrasing that Jesus used, and he watched Jesus perform the miracle and reach out his hand to lift the girl up. And years later, when Peter's moment came, he walked into the same situation. He didn't freeze up. He just hit copy and paste. He did what he watched Jesus do. And that's what true discipleship is. Peter didn't have Jesus standing next to him in Joppa physically, but he studied him so that he could imitate him. So the question for us is, are we studying Jesus closely enough that we know exactly what to do when our moment comes? Don't just hear about him, do what he did. And the only way to be able to do that is if we read the word, study the word, memorize the word, and internalize the word, because that's how we learn to love God and love our neighbor as ourselves.